Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of this Nirvanic journey where we are aligning our health with our enlightenment, okay? And trying to get that vibration way up there on the scale, okay? So today I'm going to talk to y'all about the history and discovery of cholesterol, why we need this valuable hormone-creating steroid within our body. Also, the history and potential trouble that can be caused by the statin drugs that are used to control it. And then number two, what food and lifestyle choices cause the inflammation, which causes inflammatory events such as high cholesterol, and how we can lower our cholesterol naturally with foods and healthy lifestyle choices. Now that I've said that, now that I've said all that, okay, I need to let you know that I am not recommending anybody get off their medicine. I would never do that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not your doctor. You definitely need to do your own research. Take that to your doctor and say, hey, what about this? I saw this and I'm having these issues. So how can we change this? Okay. All right. So first, let's go over some history. Like I said, that's the first thing. First, over 200 million people globally, okay, are currently prescribed and presumably taking statin drugs right now, okay? That is 3% of the world's population right now that's taking that, okay? A little history is that the causal connection between cholesterol and heart attacks was first made in 1939 by a Norwegian clinician named Carl Mueller, okay? This is when cholesterol studies really took off, but as researchers have kept studying it even up until today, okay, more and more facts are coming out about cholesterol and how we need it and how vital it is to every cell, okay? Statin drugs were created to care for cholesterol back in 1987 under the premise that cholesterol was the villain, okay, and the cause of all atherosclerotic or atherosclerosis events and things like that, heart attacks and stuff like that. And then if we do, researchers were like, well, if we just do away with cholesterol, then voila, we're good, okay? But like I said, they're learning even into today how important cholesterol actually is for our body. All right, to start here, right here, we need to learn what types of cholesterol there are because there's 3 different types, okay? There is when children are born or between, up to around age 11 or 12, sometime in that event, their pediatrician will likely do a blood test, or they may even do it in the hospital in some hospitals when they're born, okay? But we did it. I worked in pediatrics for years. We did blood draws around the ages of between 11 to 13 and checked for high cholesterol. We did a lipid evaluation just to see if triglycerides were high or anything like that. And then they may have 0 cholesterol. They may have perfect cholesterol within normal range, okay? If the pediatrician sees it's a little elevated, she'll recommend a lower fat diet and things like that, okay? Well, and then as the person ages, if they find that their cholesterol numbers are going up and the doctor wants to prescribe a statin drug, that is that's because of what we eat, the lifestyle choices we make, the lack of exercise and things like that, okay? Type 2 is called heterozygous familial hypercholesterolemia, okay? Which means it is a chromosomal defect and you're born with it, okay? And typically when you're born with it, your cholesterol is going to be around between 2 and 400, somewhere usually in that vicinity, okay? And 1 in every 250 people have this type of cholesterol, okay? It's a lot more common. A lot of children are actually born with it. And there's a lot more things that can be said about that. I'm not going to go into that right now, okay? Because what can cause you to have high cholesterol, that is not really what this video is about, okay? Okay, the third and most rare form is called homozygous familial hypercholesterolemia, which is where the child starts out with at birth with a cholesterol level of around 600 to 1,000, okay? That is extremely high. And typically those people, that's only 1 in a million people have that, okay? It's not common. It's not the one you probably got diagnosed with or they would have told you, okay? But it is very dangerous. And if it is not under control from birth, okay, then that person's mortality rate is a lot higher as a teenager, okay? Typically, they won't live to be around the age of 15. At the latest, they're saying, from some reports I read, is age 20, okay? So that's something that definitely needs to be taken care of. There is hope. Never give up hope. There's always hope for how we can get your body back in alignment. And if you have those types of disorders, then the drastic measures need to be taken as far as diet, exercise, and things like that, okay? But you have to do research on that. If you have that type and you want to message me and you know, we can talk about some different things you can do, then feel free, okay? I have my website open now, nirvanicjourney.com, and then I also have an Instagram, which I don't use yet. I need to really get that going. And then I have YouTube, and you can leave a comment below if you'd like to do that as well. Okay, so I want to make sure that I drive this home in this video, that cholesterol is super vital to your body's overall health, okay? You've got to have it. Every single solitary cell in your body has a receptor for cholesterol, okay? You need it. It's needed for, it is especially needed in your brain, okay? It's so necessary for our bodies that our body makes it. It's not like vitamin C where we have to take it or get it from our food. It's so important that we need it so much in our body that our body makes it, okay? We need it for muscles, hormones, fat digestion, etc., okay? Remember that so much research has been done since the initial discovery of cholesterol and then updated as new information has been found out. As we go, they're finding out more and more stuff. Also, statin drugs were created to to alleviate the cholesterol that was floating around in our blood, okay? And this kind of, it bugs me about, you know, the drug companies and stuff like that, because they don't, the testing that's done is not always real accurate. You know, it's not always real good, and sometimes things get through, and so many people are put on it like, oh, this is safe and everything like that, but a lot of people are having issues with this, okay? Okay, so back to the subject matter. Please don't misunderstand me. I don't want anybody to think that cholesterol is safe in high numbers. I also don't want you to think that I'm trying to say cholesterol, we need high cholesterol. We don't. And in high numbers, it is not safe. Your triglycerides being high is not safe. So I'm not saying it's safe. I'm saying that it's necessary and that we don't want to just pop drugs that are going to stop the production of cholesterol altogether, okay? And the numbers may be where they're not supposed to be. Like now they're moving it from between 170 to 200 is high. To me, personally, from the studies I've done, 2 to 230, 240, stuff like that, it should be perfectly fine. Anything above 250 and above is starting to get too high, okay? And you're going to end up having cholesterol collecting in places in your body that it shouldn't, okay? It is 100% fact that high cholesterol in the wrong environment in our bodies. Now, you know how much I push probiotics and stuff like that. So when your body environment is not aligned and not right, your negative feedback is not working properly, your sympathetic nervous system is overworking because of stress and things like that in your body, that is not good. That is dangerous, okay, for our health. And that can cause heart attacks and strokes. We know that stress can cause heart attacks and strokes, and you know, it could be because of inflammatory events like cholesterol collecting and blah, 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 okay? So different events in our body cause our body to tuck fats, cholesterol, specifically LDL cholesterol, which is supposed to stay low. LDL is supposed to stay low. HDL, you need a little bit more of that, they say. Okay, it will tuck it into the walls. Now, I printed this little diagram here. I hope you can see it. But this top one here is a healthy vein, okay, where the blood is just flowing through like it's supposed to. I hope you can see that. And then the second one is where the cholesterol is starting to collect between this fibrous tissue here and the wall of the artery, or the wall of the, well, it doesn't collect in veins, but arteries and vessels, okay? And so the cholesterol starts to collect. Well, after a while, what can happen is either a piece of this can break off, and then a blood clot will form, and that's where people get strokes and heart attacks. Or another way that, that it can build up is if it just starts to collect. It gets so full that the blood can't flow properly, and then when you're like exercising or you have a stressful event or something like that, that blood will build up right there and start to form a clot of blood that you're not supposed to have right there. That clot can also cause a stroke. It can also just stop the blood flow to your heart, which can kill heart tissues, okay? So you don't want this. This is not okay. This is not okay. And this is caused by inflammation, okay? This is caused by the wrong foods going into our body. If you're born with the FH, the heterozygous FH, which is most people are born with that type, that's where your cholesterol levels are 300, somewhere around there. This can start happening, okay, if you have a high sugar diet and stuff like that, okay? So we don't want this, okay? This is bad. So I hope that helps you guys to understand that kind of stuff, okay? All right. Now, what is an inflammatory event, you might ask? Because I mentioned that inflammatory events cause these things to happen within our vessels, okay? What is an inflammatory event? Inflammation is a natural response to our body. You twist your ankle, what does it do? It swells. That's our body's way of protecting that tendon, that bone. If the bone is broken, it's our body's way. It swells real big to keep it safe, so no more injury happens to it. It's amazing. It's miraculous the way our body works, okay? Also, if you have an internal tear or, you know, something like that, or if you have an internal, you know, breakage right here, let's say this got so big that, you know, that you were exercising and a little piece of this broke off and then a blood clot forms, that's inflammation. That's good. Our body's supposed to have that, but that becomes dangerous in a vein or not a vein, in a vessel or an artery type situation. Then it can become dangerous, okay? But inflammation, I don't want anyone to think that inflammation within our body is bad. It's a good negative feedback. It's good. It's supposed to stop things from happening to us that could kill us, okay? Our body's main job is always to keep us alive, okay? Now, what foods can cause, I want you guys to know what foods can actually cause inflammatory responses within your body that are not needed at the time, or can cause breakage in vessels and things like that that are just bad for us, okay, and unhealthy. Well, you want to know what causes inflammatory events? I'm so glad you asked. LOL. Okay, and I also want to please encourage y'all that if you're having any issues, please try this out for 2 weeks. What I'm saying, just try it out for 2 weeks and see if you don't feel better, okay? Lowering some of these foods and implementing some things, just try it. Just give it a go, okay? Just see if you don't feel like a new person, okay? Your brain gets clearer, you know, you feel more stamina in your daily life and things like that, okay? All right, the number one inflammatory food in the whole wide freaking world, okay, that America needs to get in check, especially because Americans with their refills and all that kind of stuff, is, you guessed it, sugar, okay? Sugar is deadly, okay? Sugar is a drug. It's addictive. It just is. I could tell you a story about my mom. I don't know if she'd want me to, but she started working at Coca-Cola. She was fit and healthy and doing great and in good health, and Coca-Cola, you know, it's free everywhere. It used to be, at least. I don't know if it still is, but, you know, on every floor of the Coke building, you know, you can just push a button and any Coke machine and a Coke falls out. Or you can go to the cafeteria and just get it full all day long. And that sugar, you know, she started gaining some weight and just having inflammatory issues, a lot of arthritic problems, a lot of pain, a lot of knee and joint pain and stuff like that. And I have no doubt in my mind, I always said, Mom, you got to stop drinking that Coke. You know, you got to stop doing that because that is not good for you. You know, Cokes, candies, pastries, desserts, all that stuff is sugar, okay? Anything carbohydrates, noodles, pasta turns into sugar, but that's not going to be as bad as like eating a big fat cinnamon roll or whatever, okay? All right, and these are the things that are caused by inflammatory events within our body or eating too much sugar. Overall pain, even back pain. Okay, back pains are not always caused by, you know, pulling a muscle or something. It can just be caused by eating too much sugar. Joint pain, even diagnosed joint pain such as rheumatoid arthritis. Chronic illness, including fibromyalgia, MS, lupus, all of those are inflammatory disorders, okay? And a lot of times they're caused by leaky gut, which is in another video I have. Type 2 diabetes. Of course, if you're eating a lot of sugar and you're gaining weight like crazy, you're at risk for your pancreas not being able to keep up, okay? Allergic disorders and respiratory issues such as asthma, okay? If you're suffering from asthma, try taking off some weight. Try cutting back on sugar. Mood issues, even some diagnosed mental disorders such as depression, even cancer. Because did you know that cancer actually cannot survive without sugar? It needs sugar to live, okay? So anybody with cancer, there's 2 things they need. I'm going to do a video on cancer, so you have to watch it, okay? My next video is going to be on cancer. All right, lack of exercise. Number 2, okay, number 1 is eating too much sugar. Number 2 is lack of movement. I've talked about this. I have another video on exercise and how it can help you. If you're currently not exercising, start with just a few minutes at a time, a few days a week, okay? 5 minutes, up to 10 minutes, up to 15, up to 20. Just add 5 more minutes a day until you're up to 30 minutes at a time of really walking as fast as you can or doing whatever it is that you can do, okay? And if you're more healthy and you're fit and able to do CrossFit or something like that, and anybody can do CrossFit, really. They'll start at a beginner level with you, okay? Exercise helps heal your brain, helps give you less foggy brain syndrome and stuff like that, helps you at your memory. High carbohydrate diet, like I said earlier, noodles and pasta and breads and all that kind of stuff turns into sugar, okay? My doctor recommended no more than 30 milligrams of carbohydrates per day, okay? He is pretty strict about that, and he's like, hey, I don't like to see you eating more than 30 grams of carbohydrates a day because it just pushes that pancreas too hard. Also, number 4, the wrong kinds of oils and fried foods. Okay, fried foods are not good for you. We do need some oils, and there are good healthy oils such as coconut oil, avocado oil, flaxseed oil. Eating an avocado a day, really good for you. Your brain needs that kind of oil, okay? Flaxseed oil, sesame oil, grapeseed oil. Those kind of oils, if you have to fry something, which I never do, but if you want to fry something, you want to fry it in an oil that's not going to turn into a carcinogen when it gets hot, okay? So just Google that. The next one's pretty obvious, alcohol, okay? Alcohol should be used in severe moderation, okay, folks, if you use it at all. If you have any previous underlying health conditions, you probably shouldn't even be drinking alcohol, okay? And y'all know that FDA says men can have so much a day and women can have so much a day, but you know, use your judgment. If you have a lot of inflammatory disorders, irritable bowel and things like that, you may just want to cut that out. Smoking, of course, is dangerous and will keep your body in a state of inflammation continuously without stopping because your body is constantly trying to keep itself alive. So that just puts you in an inflammatory state, okay? Including high cholesterol is, you know that heart attacks are a lot more, you're at more risk for heart attacks when you smoke, okay? Fast foods, because they're hugely high in carbohydrates and unhealthy oils and fats. So the lifestyle changes that you can implement or make would be to cut out the above foods that we talked about, exercise, implementing it, starting small and working up to 30 minutes a day, 3 to 4 days a week. Some good anti-inflammatory foods are tomatoes, which are full of lycopene, EVOO, or extra virgin olive oil, green leafy vegetables, and non-salty nuts. You know, nuts are very good for cholesterol too, as long as they're eaten in moderation and they're not salted. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, tuna, mackerel. Plenty of fruits and berries, cherries, grapes. They're loaded with resveratrol, like what you would get in red wine if, you know, as long as you don't drink too much of it. But they say that red wine's good for you. All right, and then Google fruits loaded with antioxidants. Okay, that's going to be good. Green tea is loaded with antioxidants. Brightly colored peppers, such as bell peppers. Mushrooms, such as shiitake and portobello. Probiotic drinks like Kavita and kombucha. I try to drink probably 4 or 5 kombuchas a week. You can also make it yourself. There's some really neat YouTubes on that too. Turmeric, and I'll put a recipe for a drink that I drink every day in the box below that has apple cider vinegar, which is also very highly anti-inflammatory. And turmeric is so good for you for reversing oxidation in your cells, which can cause cancer. And then dark chocolate is loaded with antioxidants too, not Hershey's chocolate. I'm talking about like that bitter dark chocolate, okay? All right, well, thank you guys so much. I love each and every one of y'all. Thank you for watching my videos and for being so supportive. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like to get more videos like this. And I love each and every one of you. Much white light and blessings. And namaste.